So I just wanted to. Hello? You know how when you're, well, in high school and in college, I'm in college right now, and people text, of course, they're always warned not to text, and people text anyway. I usually don't personally, but that's just me. But they're always talking about turning off your cell phones, making your cell phones are silenced, and all that, warning everybody of that, making sure and stuff. And your parents tell you not to have your cell phone on during things when you're in high school. My parents don't say much anymore since I'm in college, and I'm just smart. Anyway, but you go to church or something, or you go somewhere where there's adults and there's younger people that have cell phones, adults have cell phones, young people have cell phones, and then you hear something like this. That was terrible. You hear something like this. And everyone's looking around, they hear the thing, some of the teenagers or young adults look in their purses or whatever, their cell phones. They aren't going off because they're on silent. And then finally, some older lady, often in her 60s, 70s, 80s, pulls out her phone and she's so embarrassed and she's like, I'm sorry. And yeah. The thing about this is that you are always warned, as like younger people, people like me, we're always warned not to have our cell phones on. Put them on silent, put them on vibrate, turn them off, whatever it takes, don't have your cell phones on. And then, who is it that has their cell phone go off? It's these older people that don't know, or that like, they're always worried about these younger kids and making sure that they're not interfering with whatever's going on out there, and they're the ones that their cell phones go off because the teenagers and young adults are smart enough to know, they're the ones that have had these cell phones for this, like, longer and stuff. They're smart enough to know that when you go in somewhere, you turn off your cell phone, you put it on silent, you put it on vibrate. I personally don't turn mine off, I just put it on silent. But you do that so that you won't interrupt whatever's going on, you won't interfere, and you don't get yelled at. But these older people that are all worried about it, usually, they're the ones who, I mean, usually they don't get calls, I don't think. As far as I know, I mean, I don't get a whole lot of calls either, but usually these older people don't get calls as often, but they're the ones that aren't smart enough to turn off their ringers and turn off whatever it is, so they're the ones that their cell phones go off. I think they are the ones that should be told, make sure you put your phone on vibrate, you need to do this, you need to do this. I mean, they're not babies, but neither are young adults and teenagers, and us teenagers and such are old enough to know, or not old enough to know, are smart enough to know that you turn your ringer off when you go in somewhere, and you don't want it to ring and embarrass yourself. And these older people don't turn off their cell phones, don't turn off the ringers. I'm sorry for this creaking, it's my chair, I promise. But I don't understand. Older people need to know to turn on, if they're going to have cell phones and they're going to be in places that the cell phones are going to go off, then they either need to just not care or have their cell phone. Oh, that's another thing. Often when their cell phones are going off, they aren't used to having their cell phones, I guess. So they also don't know where their cell phone is. So it takes forever, and by the time they finally find their phone in their purse, which is probably huge and full of other junk, probably useful junk, I'm sure, but the fact is, it takes them forever to find the phone because they never use it, and so it's going off, and by the time they finally find it, everybody knows whose phone it is, and they see them pull it out, and the person takes, like, maybe at least a minute to figure out how to turn the ringer off, and they have cell phones out there for these older people. I don't remember what they're called, but they have cell phones out there for older people. I don't think we need to be giving these older people complicated cell phones. Which, by the way, I understand. I know everybody needs to be taught things, but I think it's really weird. I've grown up around computers. I had a computer back when I was, I don't know, maybe 9. Maybe it was older than that. No, maybe it was younger. I don't know. I was younger, and we had a computer that had floppy disks, and it didn't have internet. And I played Jill of the Jungle and Mouse Paint, and things like that. We had DuckTales. And I liked that computer. But anyway, I grew up with computers. I grew up with the internet as the internet went into computers. And it's so weird for me. Like, they have these things on TV, and I was helping in a preschool class, and they handed out little flyer paper things that talked about internet, or like computer lessons or internet lessons or something, and that is so weird to me, like, on how to use the internet. It's just, like, so bizarre. It's like, I don't know, I don't really want to say it's like teaching adults literacy, but it's like teaching adults, what can I compare it to? I don't know, their alphabet? I don't know, I don't want to step on any toes, but as far as, like, it's just so weird that, like, adults have to learn how to use the internet. I am younger than a lot of these people, and I can do this better than they can, and it's stuff that, like, older people use and younger kids shouldn't use as much, but they do. My, like, 7, 8-year-old, 4-year-old nephews, well, my 7-year-old isn't, the 7-year-old's a niece, but my 8-year-old and 4-year-old nephews can use the internet, use the computer, and my dad's completely computer illiterate. But anyway, the whole cell phone thing, it's always, anywhere I've been, pretty much, unless it's an all people my age thing, which usually the cell phone didn't go off in that case. But if there are adults and young adults and teenagers there, 90% of the time, if a cell phone goes off, I mean, you expect it to be a teenager, but 90% of the time, it's an adult, an older adult, like someone 60 or above, and it takes them forever to jumble around their purse, and they finally find their phone, and everybody knows who it is by that point, and then it takes them forever to turn it off, and I don't know, you think they know to either silence it, or if they don't know how to silence it, turn it off, or if they don't know how to turn it off, just leave it at home. I know they know how to do that. I don't see how they're the ones that are, they're probably the same people who are saying, oh, these kids and their cell phones, and then they're like, I don't even know how to use this thing, but, I don't know, maybe their kids bought their cell phone for them, I don't know, but that's just one of my little, it's not necessarily a pet peeve, but it's just weird, like, they're always telling people my age and younger to, oh, now somebody's calling me, just a moment. Hello. Yes. Bye. I'm sorry about that. And I know it kind of looks like it's kind of hypocritical, but this isn't something I have to be quiet. I am talking. I am the one talking. And I'm not talking to anybody but you guys. But, I mean, it's no big deal, right? I mean, you guys can pause it and listen to it and talk on your phones, and you're probably texting or talking on your phone. Anyway, I don't need to explain myself. That was my friend Gabby, by the way. Anyway, she's stopping by. But, yeah, if this was something where I shouldn't have my cell phone on, which it'd probably be better if I didn't, but she likes to call, so I have to answer. Nothing against her. Anywho, and there she is again. I'll get back with you after I get off the phone. Now I'm pushing all kinds of buttons. Anywho, she wanted to know if I wanted to go to Kmart. Anywho, oh my goodness, I gotta resituate myself. I need to turn on my fan. It's kind of warm in here, and I don't have the windows open, which I could, but anywho, I'm getting off topic. People and their cell phones, if you're older, I don't know if you're older and you're watching this, I'm kind of surprised if you are, but hey, I'm more than happy to have older viewers too. If you're older, please, either don't take your cell phone somewhere, or turn off the sound, or the phone, or turn it on vibrate. Or just, I mean, if you don't care, you don't care, and just sit there talking or walk out and talk or whatever. I really don't care, but you really, if you're gonna have something, you should know how to use it, right? If you're gonna have a cell phone. I tried teaching my mom how to use a cell phone, and her cell phone, I mean, she's not in her 60s, she's in her 50s, but her cell phone goes off from time to time, and she hasn't learned to turn it off, or turn sound off, apparently, and she can't find it half the time. Oh, my mother. Anyway, for those of you out there, comment if you feel the same way or if you have some kind of interesting story to tell about it. And tell your older relatives, friends, countrymen, women, and such, and children, and keep in mind yourself, I guess, that you should probably silence your phones and such. I feel like older people have more of a problem with that than we do, and we're the ones that are warned about it. Anyway, yeah, please comment about what you think of that down below, and let me know any stories you have or how you feel about that whole situation. Okay, well, silence your phones.